And we are back. This is probably going to be one of the lowest energy ones I've ever done. So if you're expecting me to be all, rambling 900 miles a minute as I normally do, you're not going to get it this time. So, anyway, here we are. It's been 2 weeks instead of one because I told you that I wanted actual feedback, and about 3 people, actually I'm sorry, 4, after I made the decision to go bi-weekly, actually commented. So I'm only doing these once every 2 weeks now instead of every week. So that's your fault. If you want more, then because I know way more than 3 people watch this. I get to see the views on YouTube, people like it on certain pages, but no one actually says anything. They don't actually say what they do like or dislike. So, I like feedback. I like people to, actually contribute. I'm not here to be everyone's dancing monkey, So it's, that's just how it is. So yeah, here I am. Today we have a very, very special treat for all of you. I'm going to preview a little tiny bit of one of the new songs from my new from one of my new projects, Nemesis Imperium. It's you'll get it towards the end of the video. But just hang on to your hats if you fucking wear hats. I don't know. But yeah, stuff and other stuff. But yeah, so that's pretty much what's up. Oh, by the way, I kept meaning to say this. As a follow-up to Harold Camping saying that the world was going to end on May 12th. And as, you were all aware, for everyone except for myself, the world didn't actually end. We're all here. According to Harold Camping, and this is, as I said, old news, what actually happened on May 12th was a spiritual judgment day. So there isn't actually going to be any rapture. If you're a good person, you're still going to suffer with the rest of us come October. It's nice that Harold's giving some, hope to all the people who fucking sold their homes to buy billboards and everything. So yeah, what's actually, apparently according to him though, the world is still going to end on October 12th. Honestly, if there's anyone out there who still believes this, I'm not even going to make a bet with you. I just want to say, I think it's not a just world where someone can believe the words of a fucking shyster like Harold Camping, and I would get arrested if I slapped them in the face with my cock. I think that's a great injustice. Because I think they deserve it. I think they're fucking retards. And I'm sure people are going to be, oh no, you can't use that word. Well, I am. By the way, speaking of which, Seth Putnam of Anal Cunt died. I mean, you can't really call yourself an Anal Cunt fan. I mean, but, they had some funny things and other things that were just, kind of, I don't know, I appreciated the humor. I'm sure Chris Barnes did it. I'm sure Chris Barnes is fucking dancing in the goddamn streets right now. But, I just saw the deadest guy on Earth. Anyway, that's my little tribute to you, Seth Putnam, because I assume, saying you got fucked up the ass by Morrissey because you died would be the type of thing you would say to someone who would die. So, there you go. Yeah, because I read at his family, or was it said that the internet can be a cruel place for the recently deceased, and they were trying to keep it quiet, and I'm just like, wow, that is that is totally not in the spirit of Seth Putnam to be keeping quiet after he died and trying to be respectful, because fucking, Seth Putnam certainly wasn't quiet and respectful to the people, to people when they were alive. And, neither am I. I'm sure people will say shit when I die, too. In fact, I expect them to. And I will be disappointed in my next life if people aren't talking shit about me beyond the grave. Because at least they're talking about you. I just coughed. It was your mom's pubes she needs to shave. Anyway, also, Anthony Weiner. His name is Anthony Weiner. That's all I can say about the man. I honestly think that it's pretty sad that, people are making a big deal out of a man sending pictures of his cock on the goddamn internet. I mean, it's not like I could understand people being upset if he was doing this to, underage girls on the subway or something. That's one thing. But, a bunch of, he's not even, for one, I don't give a shit if he could be a fucking, having 20-person orgies for all I care. I don't give a shit. What I care about is politicians' policies and how much they stick to the things they have and haven't promised. I mean, honestly, I've kind of thought of Anthony Weiner as being a coward because of his dropping out of the mayoral race twice. Once, to let Fernando Ferrer go and set the world on fire with his fucking disaster of a campaign. And the other time to, I think because he was just afraid of Bloomberg's money. In fact, quite honestly, speaking of Bloomberg's money, I wouldn't be surprised if this whole thing here is part of it. Because let's be honest about this, there was that article, I think it was in the New Yorker, where Anthony Weiner said that I'm going to have a great, I'm just going to be so busy with blue ribbon cuttings, with ribbon cutting ceremonies, ripping out all your fucking pedestrian plazas and everything. And as we all know, our glorious Emperor Bloomberg doesn't really like the idea. I don't think he can comprehend the idea of one of the peasants, being against one of his ideas, and the fact that one day he won't be mayor. I mean, knowing him, he'll find some fucking way to buy the fourth term, because, he ain't gonna become president. But yeah, there's that going on, and also E3 was this week. I'm not gonna, go into too much of it, except to say that number one, the Me Too was announced by Nintendo, or as my old bass player Dave, he posted this link to this YouTube video, and he said that we should just pronounce it Wii U, which is pretty funny. I still say the Weenie would have been a funnier name, but enough wieners and weenies this week. But yeah, it's pretty much, I was at GameStop and these guys there seemed really excited about it. And I was like, I hadn't seen the E3 presentation yet. So I was all like, oh, well, what did Nintendo show? And they're like, oh, it has a tablet controller and everything. And I'm like, oh, really? They went with the idea for that. And then they were, I was like, well, what games did they announce for it? And they were like, oh, it's Ninja Gaiden and Ninja Gaiden 3 and Assassin's Creed. And I'm like, and wait a minute, wait, so all these games I could still play on my PS3, or if I was unfortunate enough to own a 360? And they were like, yeah, but this time you can play them on a Nintendo system. Really? So I'm going to spend $300 to $400 for a logo to play the same games I can play, on a PS3 or 360. That's, and the fact that they were actually excited by this, that was just like, what the fuck? I just, I just have, and just the things I've been hearing about it afterwards. I mean, the fact that it uses this giant tablet controller, which is... and I thought the fucking 360 controller was like for, at least the analog sticks are symmetrical, because the 360 controller, it was designed for like Sloth from Goonies or something. I mean, I don't know about you, but my thumbs are in the same place, and I kind of like my analog sticks being in the same place on both sides of the controller. But, I guess the frat boys don't. So, anyway, but yeah, they have this big giant tablet controller, and apparently you can only use one of them per system. and it was just like, wait a minute, well, what about multiplayer games? Well, it turns out you can't use GameCube controls, but you can use the little Wiimote, so you can have some waggle in there. But don't worry, because Nintendo have another possible solution. For only $250, if you're not interested in, and this is great if you're not interested in portable gaming, for only $250, you can get another controller by using a 3DS as a controller. And wow, that's really a transparent way of selling your little portable system. So, you know, wasn't really that big of, you know, the only thing that impressed me at all in any of the E3 things was the PS Vita. You know, and I'm not a big portable person. You know, I was just like, wow, there's, you know, it's to play like PS3 looking stuff on a portable. But otherwise, yeah, I wasn't very impressed by it. There was no big surprises this year. There was no, you know, nothing blew me away, really. I mean, I think Sony won by default, only because Microsoft was all this, you know, here's Halo 4, and, oh wait, in case you haven't had enough Halo, here's a remake of the original Halo. And it's like, you know, gee, that's great. You know, let's see, Halo, Gears of War, and Fable. Like, because, you know, do you realize there have been 6 fucking Halo games for the 360? 6, okay? You know, it might be time to, I don't know, maybe invest in some first-party development, just what I'm saying. But yeah, so that's pretty much what's been going on this week. That's, you know, the news with Charles. So yeah, I guess, these will keep going for once every 2 weeks at this point, unless you guys bother the shit out of me and tell me how much you want this to go back to being weekly again. That's really, really up to you. You want this more? I want to hear from you, okay? Don't just, you know, like this or watch it on YouTube and not actually say something, okay? Because, you know, that's bullshit. And, you know, I don't need that. But for those of you who do watch, here is a preview of a new song from Nemesis Imperium. Well, I didn't want you to get too excited there, so that was kind of a short preview. But yeah, that's what's going on. You may have noticed we tuned down to B, because B means evil or some shit. So yeah, bye.
I just saw the gayest guy on earth. I just saw the gayest guy on earth. I just saw the gayest guy on earth. He hangs around in Austin. The gayest guy. He always wears a tree shirt. His favorite band is Roadside. He's at the Modern Cafe. I just saw the gayest guy on earth. I just saw the gayest guy on earth. I just saw the gayest guy on earth. I just saw.